that. And the two form teams, again though, Japan will take the full 12 points. China will get 10. Here we go, cup final, the men. Hong Kong, well, they were on fire, 55-0 against Sri Lanka in the semi-final. They're playing China. Another cup final for the home side, China. A long time since they've been in a cup final, but they stunned Japan 14 points to 7 in the semi-final. And as I said, Hong Kong, well, they put in one of the performances of the decade against Sri Lanka, 55-0. It was about as comprehensive as you could ever get. And they come out on their change strip, led by Captain Max Woodward. Lining up here at the Olympic Stadium in Huizhou for a showdown for maximum points. Japan beat Hong Kong 2 weeks ago in the cup final in Korea. As we stand by for this match to kick off. Game 40 of a big weekend of rugby. We just saw the Chinese women pipped in extra time by Japan, gutting for their home fans. Japan, though, showed their true class. Just waiting for the officials to take the field here. And if you're watching this all around the world, great having you with us. I guess there'll be just the one anthem, the March of the Volunteers, Chinese national anthem, representing both these sides. Well, the scene is set here for Game 40 at the end of a long weekend of rugby. Leg 2 of the 2019 Asia Rugby 7 Series. It's going to be hosts China against Hong Kong. Hong Kong led by Max Woodward. Rafe Morrison and Michael Coverdale have been on fire. Hat-tricks each in recent games. Playmakers Webb, Lee and Neville. Out wide, Alex McQueen. And on the bench, Rimini, Jones, Seb Bryan, Jamie Hood, Yukem Shing on that bench. Thousands of sevens caps amongst them. For China, look out for number 5, Shan Chang Shun. Lu Luda in 10's a big favourite with the crowd. Li Hai Tao, a dangerous finisher. And Ma Zhong, who was instrumental in their semi-final win, starts off the bench in front of their home crowd. They're going to have to be right on their game here to give themselves any chance against Hong Kong, who might have used up a lot of energy in that big 55-point win. Referee Kamamuta from Japan is our referee. And here we go. China, no doubt. Well, this crowd, the home advantage, home soil, it's got to be worth a few points. Here we go. Shan Chang Shun gets us underway. Batted back into the hands of Webb. This feisty young playmaker. Here's Neville. Coverdale. Neville trying to secure that. Big Lee Hai Tao doing something naughty. Alex McQueen gets on the front foot now. Goes through the gap. Trying to get hold of him was Liu. He does so. Woodward to Gaduli. Here's Rafe Morrison. He's got an eye for a gap. He's a deceptive runner. Into the half now of China. Morrison to Woodward. Coverdale up to the 22, and they're just easily making their way downfield. There could be a numbers here. McQueen up against Shan. This will be interesting. He gets some help from Wu Jijun. Morrison's all over the place early, and look at that from Jack Neville. What a line. And slick and seamless down the field for the first 5-pointer. Hong Kong. 4th try of the tournament for Jack Neville. Great team effort.
No, they've opened China up right from the word go, haven't they, Hong Kong? And you get the sense that if Hong Kong are leading at half time, they're not going to get the wobbles. Jackie Neville up and over. You've got a good combination here. An interesting forward pack. Coverdale, Morrison, Woodward's out there, and then in the middle of the field they've got some real talent, haven't they? Webbs has come to the fore in this tournament.
That's right, some teams struggle for one playmaker. Hong Kong have the luxury of 3, maybe 4 in their squad of 12. There's an injury here. Not sure who that is. Bit of magic fly spray should do the job though. 2 minutes into this game, the announcer tries to get something going here at the Olympic Stadium. Cracking stadium it is. China then, oh, we know they can go the distance. They've got some real gas men. The question is whether they can get around the organisation of Hong Kong on defence. Wu with the feed. They give it some air to Shan. He's going to have a go up against McQueen, who knows he's got to shut down Shan Chang Shung pretty quickly. Here's Han Jingji. Jack Neville, the terrier round his ankles. Here goes big Lou Luda. Look at this big man go. Loves a bit of contact. Coverdale does well on him. Hauls him down. Wu Jijun. Lee Haitao now. And Morrison and Coverdale getting to work on their opposites down there. Not making any ground so far, China. Good bit of footwork from Han, but Webb comes across on the inside shoulder with the tackle. Good continuity from China. Lou Luda tries to get through. Morrison with the tackle. Inching their way to halfway. Coverdale again. They slip out of the tackle this time into the Hong Kong half for the first time. Patient work from China. We wouldn't have seen this in recent seasons. Shan, can he pop it up? Webb gets a finger on him, had to make the tackle. And eventually the Hong Kong defence, it buckles, it bends, and it does the job. Neville now. Both teams using up lots of energy in these opening salvos. Just the one breakdown so far in the first 4 minutes. McQueen flirting with the touchline, does well. Lou Luda's on over the ball, getting to task. Gets his big clampy hands on it, can't secure it. Now it's their turn to suck up some pressure. Kadu Lee. Oh, that was a line ball, he get away with it. Here goes Neville. He hasn't got the speed, but he has got that fend of his. And he gets it going, but he stepped out. So big passage of play there. There'll be some puffing.
No. Fascinating to watch these two teams go at each other, isn't it? Physically superior China against possibly the tactically and skill-wise superior Hong Kong. He's just going to run out of puff here. I don't think China's going to be able to bash their way down.
Hong Kong being asked to make a lot of tackles here. They bring it back to the forwards. The forwards, Woodward and Lee Haitao, come to blows on the 10 metre. Under 2 minutes left in this first half. And Shan here, he's a tricky customer. He's up to halfway. Kaduli sensed a chance there to swoop in. Shut down by Wu. This is tough stuff by China.
They need someone in the pocket back here, Hong Kong.
Here we go, and it's Shan Chang Shun. Eventually, the weight of possession, and they do puncture the Hong Kong line and go under the post, and well, it's all on here at the Olympic Stadium. They return fire.
Well, it's one apiece. Eventually, they just overload them. Cadu's lead and make a shoot at the ball. And the previous couple of plays has resulted in no one being able to, well, no one at home for Hong Kong in the secondary defence. I've just got to say, Mike Coverdale and Rafe Morrison are playing a massive game in the middle of the park at the moment. I'm not entirely sure how big the heart and lungs are of Rafe Morrison, but they're pretty impressive. My word, he can go. Quick shout out to Murray, watching in Northland, Whangarei. How you going, Murray?
The restart not going the 10 from Shan, and it's 7-all here. Final moments of this first half. Hong Kong looked like they were going to do it. Woodward gets back to his feet. Coverdale, Webb. He gets on the outside almost of hand. He gets away, pops it up to Alex McQueen. Alex McQueen, Lou Luda sinks him down. And the wily old veteran Alex McQueen gets the return pass and right on the hooter. Extremely valuable moment there for the man they call AMAC. Put it down to Webb with the break, and don't look over your shoulder now, Alex. Conversion is good. It's 14-7 at half time. Good fight back from China, but Hong Kong sting them at the end there.
Keeping their nose ahead, aren't they, Hong Kong? And now they're showing some real organisation, Hong Kong. I still can't get over their work rate of this man, Rafe Morrison. Turns up, Jackie Neville's taking a few pork pies this weekend from close range. What about this one? Good work from China. Eventually fracturing the Hong Kong defence. No mean feat. Alex McQueen comes off his wing to help secure the first half for Hong Kong. Smart move by McQueen. They've been saving him a bit out on the wing at the moment. They've been doing a terrible amount of work down the commentary sideline as we go to the Facebook, and you can join in on the action and on the conversation on Facebook, asia.rugby, and on Instagram at Asia Rugby Live. There's the chant start up again, I should say, and Asia Rugby on Twitter at Asia Rugby. Lee Jones, Jamie Hood. There'll be a few caps between those two blokes.
Yes, well, Paul John has the luxury, doesn't he, of an extremely experienced bench. Hood, Yu Kam Shing, Lee Jones, Ben Rimini.
Outstanding. What an outstanding kick.
And they get it straight back from China. Russ Webb, that's a bit of a dipper. And Lou Luda can't get his toe on it. It's one of those ones that just slips out of the hand. First knock on by Hong Kong. So they did well from the restart. So just inside their own half, here's China. They'll want to be on the scoreboard next. Big Lou Luda against Coverdale on this side. He's an impressive athlete. This
Jack
is
Neville
Luke
missing a tackle
Coy.
there. Unusual.
Wu Jiajun now as they work their way up to halfway. Lee Haitao gets the knees pumping onto halfway. Lovely inside ball.
Great work by Mike Coverdale there to fold back in on the defence.
Jack Neville's got to get across here. It was a 3-on-1 just for a moment there. And running hard is Shan Chang Shun.
It's a meaningful play coming from China right now.
Lu Luda looks for a mismatch. He finds it in Kadu Lee. Steps right over the top of him. Building towards something here. Wu Jiajun. Oh, big tackle from Morrison. Kadu Lee with another tackle. That's a wide loopy pass. Danger. Shan Chan Shong. And eventually it's a little bit high, and a relief there for Hong Kong. There's some subs. Here they come. Yu Kam Shing, Lee Jones, Jamie Hood. As you said, Jed, hundreds of caps amongst them for sevens. And Seb Bryan also joins the field. So
well, he's a real game breaker, the Sebi Bryan. He has got that X factor. Very difficult to pull down.
Woodward, Coverdale, Jack Neville leave the field. Big shift from those guys. Alex McQueen is off.
Hong Kong forcing China to chase them at the moment, which is probably favourable.
Plenty of time left in this one, 5 minutes. Wonder if China's going to bring on Ma Zhong.
I don't think he can be far away from the action, surely. Someone's checking in or getting ready to check in. I think it's the man himself.
It is. What a player to bring on late here. Morrison keeps on going. Webb looking for Hood. Here's the fresh legs. Yu Kam Shing. He was born just a few miles down the road from here. Almost a home match for him. Lee Jones here with the first touch. Looking for Seb Bryan outside him.
Yeah, great stuff from Lee Jones.
Bumps out of the tackle of Big Gao Bing, who's on the field for China in shirt number 1. Again, they go high. They're getting punished for ill discipline right now. That's 2 in a row.
Well, Kadu Lee, he's pretty fired up, you can tell. He's just willing to put his body anywhere, anytime, anyhow to get this team over the line. Russ Webb's played a fantastic hand this weekend. But here comes Ma Zhong.
Russ Webb, the leading point scorer this weekend with 42 so far. And here comes the man himself. No stranger to some of these players. Had a stint with the South China Tigers in the Global Rapid Rugby competition earlier this year. Spent some time in Hong Kong. Kadu Lee looking for Morrison. And it goes over the back to Lee Haitao. And they've got 3.5 minutes. Here is the man, Ma Zhong. And he goes back to the forwards who have got a bit of space down there. Good gas from Wu Jiajun. Good tackle from Kadu Lee. And they're eating up the metres. Yu Kam Shing with the tackle. Russ Webb and Jamie Hood with the tackle. Away by Liu Jinkul. There's a 3-on-1. Seb Bryan's got to take down Big Gao. He's got to catch him first. That's a good run from the big tall man. And Seb Bryan desperately trying to win that ball and he can't. Goodness me, the gas there from Gao Bing. He can move for a big man. Hang on.
Oh, hey, easy, Tiger.
And yeah, just interfering, I think it was Seb Bryan, was it?
Yeah, possibly so. I think that might be the call. Did he calling him for a neck roll?
And that's a killer blow with just a couple of
Let's
minutes
have a look
remaining.
at this. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was Lee
Pretty clumsy,
Haitao.
wasn't it?
Comes in with the elbow to Bryan's face. It's going to be tough now for China, trailing by 7. 6 on the field.
Well, here he is, number 1, the Sky Tower. Gao Bing.
Lou Luda's making his way back on the field.
Looks like they're going to try and stiffen up the front. Interesting idea. Maybe they're looking to try and force Hong Kong into a contact and blow the lid and counter-ruck them. They need the ball desperately. Rafe Morrison. It's been outstanding.
Hood takes a dipping ball. Well, Russ Webb thinks about pumping it downfield. Footwork from Yu Kam Shing gets flung around by Mr. Liu. Just ragdolls Yu Kam Shing, gives away the penalty. Time just to suck up a few more moments here, and this might just go down the sideline from Hood. The veteran out of Football Club stables. Liu gives the G up to Liu Junkoi. What an athlete, what a competitor. It's great seeing him out there. Lee Jones.
Oh, another great competitor. Thought after that ankle injury, Lee Jones might be gone for all money. But he rehabbed his way back into the national team. And now he's out there putting in a key performance for his side.
Morrison has been solid in the line out. Hood now just really steps on the hammer there. Tries to get you on the outside of Shan. Thinks twice about it. Hood's been interfered with in back plate. That might have gone the other way. Mahjong now, what can he inspire? They've got to go 70 metres into the final minute. Look at this from Lou Luda. Can he shrug off Kadu Lee, who comes at him, takes the big man down. Smaller man has done very well there.
That might have been a match winner by Kadu Lee there.
China with the clock running out. Looking for the game breaker. Mahjong, he's there over the ball. Hong Kong hanging on. Here's the other game breaker, Shan Cheng Shun. Lee Jones tries to rip it out of his hands. Hood comes flooding through. Jones tries to help him. They've locked that one up. And Hong Kong there have held that one up. We'll play the scrum, but all they've got to do is get it out. They get back to 7 men finally for this final act. As Russ Webb takes a break. Ben Rimini comes on, 13th man. Called in for Hugo Stiles, who is injured. And we're going to see an almighty effort here from this Chinese front row.
Oh, no doubt about it.
They've got to get the timing right, though. Hong Kong will know it's coming. There it is. They've done it. Illegally. It's always difficult. Crowd got excited there for a moment. Ben Rimini, then he's just going to kick this out. And he gets lamped by Mahjong. Unnecessary. Frustration, irritation. And we don't need to see that after this fantastic final. And, well, it's almost an anticlimax to this very tense final, perhaps symbolic of the intensity of this final. China, unexpected cup finalists. They have gone down at home here to Hong Kong, 14 points to 7 at the Olympic Stadium in Hoi Jiao. Hong Kong, the form team of the tournament. Japan bowing out to China in the semi-final, and Hong Kong will go atop the ladder after 2 rounds, with Japan taking 3rd spot this weekend. Kamamuta, he's not having any of it. Very incensed. So what a final, Jed. What a performance by Hong Kong. But this China side is building nicely through the series, and we'll go to Colombo, It'll be all action trying to take that one out.
Well, these three teams just head on into the hunt at the moment, isn't there? And Hong Kong have been, well balanced all weekend. We've seen some superb performances, both from an individual perspective and a team-wide perspective. Seen some great action from the ladies across the weekend. Hong Kong have featured strongly. Ladies missing out on the final, but a double final performance by China, and unfortunately they've walked away with, well, just the recognition of making the finals, but still a strong showing heading in. If they're going to be doubling up in the finals like that all the way through to November, they're going to make it very tough for everybody else.
Well, they both pick up 10 points each for coming second this week, Chinese men and women. There they are. There's a team on the up. You've got to say, in recent years, they haven't really posed a threat. At best, making the top four. But beating Japan 14-7 at home here, that was their final. They couldn't repeat it against Hong Kong, who had smoked Sri Lanka 55-0. One of the most lopsided knockout matches we've seen. There are Hong Kong. They'll be back on the bus to Hong Kong tonight. Ben Rimini, bit of a chuckle with his skipper Woodward. He was a bit nonchalant when he kicked that ball over. And Ma Jong wasn't firing out there to shake his hand. So a bit of spice at the end of that to take into the third leg. There's Paul John, the coach. Congratulations all round. And so Japan, if they want to win the series, let's go down sideline now. Chiharu Nakamura, the captain of the Sakura, is sidelined for comments. Let's cross now.
Now we head into the last leg of the series, and with the Olympics in mind next year, talk us through some of your preparations, how you're going to approach the series.
Okay, the Olympic in Tokyo means a lot for us as Asia, and we have great rivals in Asia, so keep affecting each other and brush up as Asia and show the world Asian power.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again.
There we have it. Chiharu Nakamura, victorious skipper of the Japanese side. Maybe not her personal best all round, but she led her team in the final, and China thought they'd done enough to beat Japan. The crowd thought they'd done enough, but then they came back with 2 late tries to wrap it up, to go to extra time, and Susumi, leading try scorer for the tournament, ran 50 metres to dot down. Incredible. We've seen those two sides have some real ding-dongs in the Cup finals. Both sides have been on the World Series, and just the calmness and the confidence to hold it together. Let's get ready now to go down sideline. We've got the victorious skipper for Hong Kong, Max Woodward.
Every game is really hard, really tough, and China made us work really, really hard. Could have gone either way, to be honest, and I'm really proud of how the guys stuck in there and turned a hard-fought game into a win.
We head into the last leg of the series in Colombo, and with the Olympic qualifiers in mind at the end of the year, how are you guys approaching the last leg?
We set out, one of our goals was to win the Asian 7 Series, and at the moment we're in the lead, so that's good so far, but it's a new tournament, anything can happen. We just got to do our prep right and come into Sri Lanka firing and hopefully have a good tournament.
Congratulations again, and see you in Colombo.
Thank you. Good, mate.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Victorious skipper there, Max Woodward from Hong Kong, has led his team to 12 competition points here, and play over this weekend from players like him, the forwards especially, Max Woodward, Coverdale, and Rafe Morrison, Jed, really laying the foundation for these playmakers to run amok.
Yeah, what a sensational tournament by Rafe Morrison, to be honest. Phenomenal talent and something that will be pleasing the Hong Kong program would be to see the return of this guy. There was Seb Bryan. As we look at a few of the old hands, Mike Coverdale seems like an old hand too, but he's still young. Russ Webb's performance this weekend got to be commended. They were without the services of Hugo Stiles on the second day, which meant they had to lean on Ben Rimini. The little master came in and played his hands, and the coaching staff of Hong Kong can take a pretty good pat on the back there because they've prepared these men well. Well, these guys have come through, even though there was a bus trip, I might add, up to Huizhou. It's a terrific win. Terrific win, great final, and a massively enjoyable tournament too.
So they'll go to 23 points on the ladder. They will be on top of the ladder after 2 legs, Hong Kong. Japan finishing third. It'll all come down to Colombo in a couple of weeks' time, and a lot depends on the final placings for 2 reasons. One is seedings for the Olympic qualifiers in November, but also it'll decide who will represent Asia in the qualifying tournaments of Chile and Uruguay in February next year, which will then decide who appears in the World Series qualification event at the Hong Kong Sevens, first weekend of April. So it's going to come down. It's going to be a big one in Colombo in 2 weeks' time. If you're in Colombo watching this, you've been very active on Facebook today. Thanks for your comments. Get down to the Racecourse Stadium in 2 weeks' time. It's a beautiful venue. Support your team. Get behind them, the Tuskers. Talked about before, just the luxury Hong Kong has of playmakers. You see them there. Jack Neville, Russ Webb, Jamie Hood. And just brimming with experience, youth and experience. This crowd's been treated to a wonderful weekend of rugby. It's been 4 years since we've been in China on the Asia Rugby 7 series. There's the Japanese side. Well, a bit of thinking for them to do on the trip home. Hosting the Olympics in 2020. They don't need to qualify for the Rugby Sevens. Hong Kong, they'll be on the bus trip home tonight to Hong Kong, 3 hours bus from here in Huizhou. This beautiful stadium as we prepare for some presentations down on the pitch. First up, it's going to be third place winners this weekend, Kazakhstan. They had it over Hong Kong, 19 points to 17, a very close affair. What a group of battlers they are. It was a repeat of the third-fourth playoff in Korea 2 weeks ago. Same result, Kazakhstan with the win, but Hong Kong putting up a good show, going down by 2. They get their medals. There's Anna Yakovleva, some real campaigners in there. Next to her, Bakhtubayeva, Nurmatova. Proskarina. There's Tkachiova. Nurmatova. And they've done it without some players like Korachek. There's their inspirational skipper, Koshibayeva, on the end. You can see the tan lines on her arm. That's how strong the sun has been out there this weekend. They can take some confidence now. Congratulations, Kazakhstan, to you and your supporters. And great seeing those smiles and happiness they can take back with them. Now, the third place winners, Japan, an unusual sensation for them to be coming forward to take medals for third spot. 2 seasons ago, though, Jed, they tried to blood a young university side, didn't even make the top 4 over all 3 legs. I don't think any of those players have made it through to this level. They are going to come back fizzing in Colombo in 2 weeks, surely.
Well, could we see the return of Sakai?
I wonder if he's watching. Katsuyaki Sakai, one of the most influential players in sevens rugby at any level. Not appearing in the first 2 legs. Surely someone who they'll want to have on board at the Olympics.
Good pair of ears there, isn't it? He's got the cauliflowers going pretty smoothly.
Taloki, Takiri, Motomura, skipper Kamili Soachima, and the big man always trying to deflect responsibility. The shy captain. And Japanese culture would dictate that you take it with gratitude, you don't take it pessimistically, you appreciate what you've achieved in the end and what you've received. They won't be satisfied, but they're also grateful at the same time, surely. And then losing finalists, how heartbreaking for China. I thought they'd done enough. The crowd thought they'd done enough.
Well, I sensed at half-time, it looked like the faces at half-time sort of said the story. They looked all at sea, really. Everything had been won. They'd won the half, they'd got through to the half-time, they were in the lead. What do we do now? And for Japan, well, like I said, there's not too many. They probably don't know how to lose. It's one of those sort of situations. Really unfortunate. I really feel for this Chinese team. They can't be that far away from breaking the mould and breaking out. They're so very, very good. One thinks they might turn up in Colombo with a real bee in their bonnet, these ladies. Who knows?
They've been led well by their skipper there, Yan Mei Ling, on the end. And she too would rather not hoist it. She's going to, though. And runner-up for 2 legs in a row. They're getting closer.
Oh, they were far and away the best team on show this weekend. It just didn't work out in terms of the standings, did it?
But seen some real talent emerge, haven't we, from Wang Yu, Wang Fei, and Chen Kai-yi. As we look at the men now, they've come on in leaps and bounds. Look at big gal there next to Lu Luda. They've taken massive strides forward as well to make a cup final. There's Ma Zhong. And clearly, they've stepped above Korea and Sri Lanka in the ranks.
Yeah, undoubtedly. There was some parts of the play this weekend that were just, well, spellbinding. Much like the women, they came into the tournament with a real purpose. It's good to see a smile on the face of Lu Luda. He plays hard, doesn't he? He goes hard. Obviously enjoys his footy. That's the key.
Well, I can't remember China making a cup final at all. It's been Japan, Hong Kong for so many years now. So these are good signs for Chinese rugby. And if they keep building, well, the Olympic qualifiers in Korea, November 24th and 5th, will be a tremendously exciting tournament.
Look, Luluda, he's a superstar, and he's one of the making, these bloke. Well done, China. Represented their country well, other than that little stink at the end of the final, which was, I guess, some emotions running over there. As we know, elite athletes, they're highly strung.
There's the hero shot. That'll be on the China Rugby newsletter that goes out.
Time now to recognise the champions. Well, how they've done it, I'm not entirely sure, but they've done it. These ladies, they look far from convincing. By their own standards, they've been a long way off the mark. But they won the moments that counted. And here they are, the winners in China. Japan. And would there be a more surprised team than Japan?
Well, those two teams have had some massive tussles in cup finals over the years. They're never walkovers, never. We've seen some that Japan have really burgled. A couple of tries down, and they're so confident in their structure, confidence in each other, physically outmatched by China. There's Hirano there next to Nakamura.
I've got to say, even Nakamura just doesn't look so convinced about it all, does she?
What a find there, Wakapahara.
Oh, yeah.
Pativa Kololo.
Played a great final, played a powerful final, didn't she?
Yeah. No one wants to hold it. They want to give it to the 13th player. And isn't that just so Japanese to recognise the one that didn't even make the field the whole weekend, but as important as any of the other 12. Leg 2 champions, Japan. We've got a soft spot for the side over the years. Just what they've achieved and the spirit they play in, their culture, their bond, and their general cheerfulness. Congratulations, Japan. Worthy winners. And standing by now for the Hong Kong men's side. Asian Games gold medalists last year. Beating Japan in that final, stunning Japan. A lot of those gentlemen down there were part of that campaign. A lot of them were at the Rugby World Cup in San Fran. And now they're building towards something quite special. And that would be an appearance at the Olympics. There's a long way to go, but they're on track. Some outstanding rugby today from this group of men. And that 55-0 win against Sri Lanka in the semi-final really was one of the best we've seen for years. Hugo Styles there, substituted for Ben Rimini, who gets his medal. Jack Neville, Rafe Morrison, what a big engine he's got on him.
A phenomenal performance by Rafe Morrison this weekend. He'd have to stand out as a player of the tournament for me.
And his forward mate there covered our tireless work. Lee Jones off the bench. Great having a man with his experience. Coming on late for Coverdale. Jamie Hood, Max Woodward.
Oh, well, those blokes, they possibly don't have enough of those medals. They've been champions all the way through, haven't they? And what about this one? What about the old boy here?
He steps in for his brother Tom and he gets a gold medal. Tom only got silver last week. Ukam Shing, Kadu Lee. Seb Bryan made his 15s debut this year for Hong Kong.
Here's a bloke that played a terrific hand this weekend.
Yeah, Russ Webb. What a find he's been, and there we have it. Winners of leg 2 of the Asia Rugby 7 Series, and that's good too, seeing that Hugo Styles is not forgotten. Played his bit early on here at the Olympic Stadium. A great team effort. It's hard to, again, pick out any standouts. Everyone stood up, played their part. They've taken it out here. Congratulations to Hong Kong, to those men, their supporters, family and fans. Catch us once more on Facebook, asia.rugby. Get involved with the conversation, the highlights, the interviews from all levels and divisions of Asian rugby. We're on Instagram at Asia Rugby Live. Top quality, world-class images coming at you across the Instagram. And finally, if tweeting is your thing, you can catch us at Asia Rugby on Twitter. Any of those channels, well, on behalf of Jed Thine and myself, what a weekend we've had here in China. A great host to the second leg. We bid you farewell and hope that you'll join us in Colombo in 2 weeks' time. Good night.